Lewis Hamilton drove a great recovery race and managed to finish ahead of his teammate in his last race with Mercedes, and it's safe to say that the beast is far away from going to sleep. The hunt for the 8th championship will be emphasised massively from 2025 onwards, and obviously having Leclerc as his teammate, Hamilton will have a lot of challenges, but the race in Abu Dhabi has shown us one thing: he is here to stay, and age as well as shelf life are just empty words for him. Can he dominate in his first season with Ferrari, and if so, will it be dubbed as the most legendary season of his career? It's safe to say that one of the best races in Hamilton's career has been driven in Abu Dhabi, considering all of the circumstances around it. And the fact that he managed to pass his teammate on the last lap of the race has been the cherry on top when it comes to their intra-team battles. Even though Hamilton was destroyed in the qualifying head-to-head compared to Russell, winning only 5 battles out of the 24 possible, Hamilton started P16 and managed to finish P4, making a massive statement not only for his last race in Mercedes, but also for what is about to come in Ferrari. Many drivers would be heavily disappointed from the emotions that they'd face after failing to get out of Q1 in their final race with the team they've achieved so much with, something that Wolff has described as the team's fault, but not Hamilton. The man has proven again that the quote of "put Russell on pole and Hamilton on the back of the grid and they will still finish the race close to each other" hasn't been written just for the sake of it. Nevertheless, it's been an amazing journey for the man who won 6 championships in the Drivers' Championship and propelled the team to 8 consecutive championships in the Constructors' category. And the most successful partnership is now officially coming to an end. Hamilton had nothing but praise for his team, and while the emotions have gone from good to bad, especially in the last couple of races, from Brazil, where he wanted to retire earlier, to Vegas, where he finished on the podium, and then again in Qatar, where he admitted that he isn't fast enough, only for Hamilton to round up his final race with this superb performance. It's still something that is going to be looked at with so much admiration. The motivational words have been said by Bono, and unfortunately we couldn't hear it for one last time. It's hammer time, when Hamilton was told that he has 14 seconds to recover to Russell in the last 15 laps of the race. The 7-time world champion did exactly what was asked of him, and when talking about the end of the era, Bono said that it's been a pleasure to work with a man like Hamilton, to which the champion responded, "The pleasure's been mine. Yeah, Bono, we dreamed alone, but together we believed, and as a team we achieved things that we didn't believe were possible. Thank you for all the courage, the determination, the passion, and for seeing me and supporting me. What started out as a leap of faith turned into a journey into the history books. We did everything together, and I am so grateful to everyone. From the bottom of my heart, all the best." But again, while this emotion will last for quite some time, the future is what Hamilton needs to look forward to, and unfortunately for him, he cannot get to adapt to the Ferrari machinery as soon as possible, which is the tyre test in Abu Dhabi. The team planned a lot of ambassadorial activities as part of the farewell, and you would expect such a thing from a man who has achieved so much for a team that wasn't prepared to win championships before the turbo hybrid era started. Be that as it may, Vasseur doesn't believe that Hamilton will need a lot of accommodation time in Ferrari, and just a couple of hours within the car will be enough for him to feel like one with the car, prepared to fully send it towards the 8th championship that has been a dream of his for quite some time. This is something that we must not forget. Hamilton didn't leave Mercedes to retire or hasn't been replaced by the team. He left with a mission on his mind, and that mission is very likely to be fulfilled, because if we are to see the pattern back to 2013, Hamilton joined a struggling team in Mercedes just 1 year before the beginning of the new regulations, and the rest was history. Of course, Mercedes was then modelled by Schumacher and Lauda, and the same can't be said for Ferrari, but The leadership under Vasseur has changed so much to the point of Ferrari now being a legitimate contender for both of the championships. After all, they missed out on this year's Constructors' Championship by just a very small margin, and that goes to show how much they've progressed throughout the years. Vasseur, however, doesn't believe that Mercedes will be the best team that Hamilton has driven in, as he is committed to giving the 7-time world champion machinery with which he can conquer the world. When addressing a question as to how Hamilton feels about leaving the team of his life and whether or not he misjudged leaving it, Vasseur said, "The team of his life? We will judge it in 2 years, thank you. It didn't always go well between them. He is someone quite sensitive who needs to be surrounded, supported and loved. He could have had the feeling that it was not always the case this season. After all, I think when he smelled the blood, or at least the smell of Russell in front today, he put everything back and he showed that he is quick. I was never worried about Hamilton. I know what he has in mind. I think for us it will be an added value in addition." These comments come after Vasseur stated that he isn't worried a single bit, even after Hamilton questioned himself back in Qatar, adding that if we are to look at the performance in Las Vegas, we would understand what type of driver Ferrari brought to their own rows. Obviously, Ferrari are putting a lot of faith in the champion, and if you are a bit of a Hamilton fan, you can understand why his next team made the decision of replacing Sainz with him. A no-brainer one. We're talking about a man who almost won the championship on his first try, and a man who pushed a 2-time world champion out of his team. And while he did win his first championship at the last corner in the race in Interlagos, it's still a valuable one and probably the most legendary one in the second year of his F1 career. Be that as it may, the Monegasque driver, the man with so many nicknames, is still going to be the biggest hurdle on Hamilton's path to win a Drivers' Championship with Ferrari. Everything that Ferrari has been through, Leclerc has been a part of, at least from 2019 onwards, and at the stage has been more or less set for him to be the next champion for the Maranello team and not Hamilton. The fans of the team are very happy to see Hamilton join, but whether we like it or not, the competition for Leclerc has ramped up to the point of him having to level up his game even more, not allowing a single mistake against Hamilton, because the 7-time world champion can capitalise on those in a very strong manner. All of this goes to show that the next season is going to be an extremely anticipated one, and with all of the trust that Ferrari has put in Hamilton, as well as the latest statement from Vasseur, it's safe to say that the rivalry between these two will determine whether we're going to have a healthy or toxic relationship within the inner circles of the Maranello team. Obviously, the goal is to win the Constructors' Championship in the same fashion that McLaren did in 2024, but of course the form of Hamilton is not going to be dropping anytime soon, and the number one driver that you want to beat on the track is your teammate, so we should be prepared for an intensive fight between these two. Whether or not they will be able to attack the championship right away, time will tell, but seeing the 2024 form of Ferrari, we can easily understand that they have what it takes to put it on the top step of the podium much more frequently than they did until now. The only question remains, who will be the driver to do it on a more regular basis? And with all this in mind, what do you think about Hamilton's massive statement in Abu Dhabi and his last race with Mercedes? And more importantly, what do you think the future holds for him and Ferrari? Let us know in the comments below.